Yo, 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 it's ODB from OLP. This is episode 387. Thanks for coming back and rocking with us. If you're new to the podcast, please consider subscribing. If you're listening via a podcast app, just know that there's an enhanced viewing experience if you check us out on YouTube. We definitely appreciate all the support. On this episode, I'm going to have two guests join us, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. I want to give a huge shout out to Scraping the Coast, our title sponsor. Check this out. If you visit scrapingthecoast.com, you'll be taken to the website we see at the time of this recording, about 2 weeks away. So it's technically going to be the 20th, that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Biloxi. So get on out there. One of the great things about this event, as I always say, is the air conditioning. So it's an awesome indoor and outdoor event. There's lots of stuff going on. And in social media, Scraping the Coast recently shared their coveted schedule. It gives a breakdown of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everything you need to know. It's an amazing event with awesome awards. Get on out there and support the real deal, Scraping the Coast. The episode overview here on this episode, Jessica Roach and Donna Mahaney-Patrick will join us. I'll give out some breaking news to those individuals. And, you may have noticed the title of this episode. I tried to kind of do a little spin off LL Cool J, which many of you know stands for Ladies Love Cool James. Well, we wanted to do a little spin, Ladies Love OLP, but OLP loves the ladies. So there's a couple of acronyms for you, LLOLP. Ladies love OLP, but seriously, what we've tried to do over the year, we've had guests on from the ladies. We've also given awards out to the ladies, and we want to make sure we give the credit to them because I know it's mostly guys in our scene, but the ladies, especially the wives, and really the enthusiasts, the builders even, they get out there, they get their hands dirty, they build cool trucks, and I'd often argue that they run circles around us, right, in many ways. So more to come here in just a few moments from Jessica. Thank you again, and Donna Mahaney-Patrick, Jessica Roach, rather, for taking the time and sitting down with us. The episode overview is brought to you by Hammered Weekend Wear. I've told you time and time again, HAMMERD, weekendwear.com. Get out there and support the real deal. They've dropped some really, really cool stuff, full sizes, plenty of minis, a lowrider recently, so much awesome stuff going on from Hammered Weekend Wear. They visit shows nationwide, so make sure if you see them, go support them, go slap hands with the famed Hammered Weekend Wear. I want to give a random shout out to David Lanier. David had reached out to me, and I've seen his name in a few different groups, and he was sharing with me some of the collection and some of the stuff that he has been able to pull together, just various items, which was super cool. So David, thanks for all the support. Really appreciate it. Breaking news. And this one is really kind of near and dear to my heart because I spend a lot of time with these magazines and recording and editing and uploading that I don't get a chance to really spend a lot of time on our website. But I did update the site. And if you go out there, you're going to see our new Mini Truckin Syndicate hats. These have been delivered. So if you order, these will be shipped within a day or two business days, if you will. We'll also have them at Scraping the Coast as long as we don't sell out. Now, our hats are high quality, and they do typically sell out very, very quickly. So make sure you either get on the website and snag one. It's the first time we've done a patch hat, and these things are awesome. So it's got that Mini Truckin vintage feel to it, and we've added Syndicate because that's what we're representing, the Mini Truckin Syndicate. So it's pretty cool. Check them out. I also added some vintage style shirts, a super soft blue, a super soft pink-ish, those in those two colors, and you can get those at our lifestyle podcast.com, link in the description if you're here on YouTube. Support the real deal. The money that we make, believe it or not, doesn't go in our pockets. Put it back into like buying these awards, for instance. And as an example, Welch's Chop Shop, they take care of us, but the stuff isn't cheap. So, between this and some of the things that we're doing with the Mini Truck Hall of Fame, basically the money that comes in just gets reinvested into the scene. So that's one of the things I like to really reinforce to everyone out there. Okay, next we got the general updates. And this weekend is Classic Truck Throwdown. Now, I think oftentimes people of my generation might hear the word classic and they think Cult Classic ODB, or they think classic truck as in my dad's truck. Okay. We're getting older, folks. It's 2025. The way Classic Truck Throwdown works is if the truck is 25 years or older, so we're basically up to the year 2000 now. So if you've got a 2000 NBS, or let's not forget, even though we call them 88 to 98, that generation of truck actually expanded into 2000 with the dualies and things like that. But if you've got 2000 or prior, you can register for this show. So it's pretty cool. If you've never been to Lone Star Throwdown, this is their sister show that happens about a half year later, not quite a half year, but LSTs every February. A Classic Truck Throwdown, as of now, has been always in June. And this year they did move it in. They pulled it in some. So it's this weekend, the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And it's going to be in Conroe, Texas. Want to give a huge shout out to our Pacific Northwest kinfolk. Keeping it old school is June 4th, and Boring, Oregon, right? So if you're up there in that area, get out there. Now, I do tend to forget to mention some of the stuff because I just, believe it or not, don't go on Facebook often. But when I went on today, I saw it. So to Jeff and all of the kinfolk up there in Class Act, and everybody that represents the scene in the Pacific Northwest, including the big homie, Craig Braid, aka CB. Keep doing what you guys do. I mentioned our title sponsor, Scraping the Coast. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, June 20th through the 22nd. And I also want to reinforce 3 months later. So if you take Scraping the Coast and you go, hey, 3 months in the future, and that's going to bring us to the freaking weekend show, and it's thefreakingweekend.com. Of course, that's at Harrah's Gulf Coast, not at the same location as Scraping. But the cool thing about this event is, again, it's 3 weeks later. If you go to their website, you can buy the freaking tickets. You can register. It's Friday, September 19th, the 20th, and 21st. And there's a pre-party. There is an after party, and it's all condensed. So if you stay at that hotel, you walk across the boardwalk rather, and you go down the stairs, and boom, you're at the event. So it's super awesome, super convenient. Those are the general updates brought to you by Southeast Mini Truckin' Nationals, aka Mini Nats. They're having a sister show, which is going to be, I think it's the 10th, 11th, 12th, that weekend of October. And their new show is the All Classic Southeast All Truck Nationals. I believe I have that correct. So get out there. There's another shout out. Okay, trivia. I got one question for you. Where's the biggity Mike the Mayor? Yeah, he is out pedal stomped gallivanting in the summer. You cannot get this guy on the phone. I've tried. I think he's changed his number again. But I got one question for all the listeners out there. Are you ready? Yeah, Mike, if he was here, he'd be ready to get it wrong. That's right. So this one ties into the last trivia, and I know it's going to be a little bit more tough. But if you have paid attention to our social media, the Thursday before this episode dropped, I posted what I call a pop culture post, and I gave out this information. Can you name the actual fictional day of the year and year? So let's say the date of when Ferris Bueller took the day off. Okay. So what is the actual fictional date that Ferris Bueller took the day off? Now, going back, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, there was a guy, Larry Granillo. He wrote an article, I think it was like on a blog site or a sports site. It was called Weizenball, Ferris Bueller's Day Off at Wrigley Field. And he goes on to say, on this day off, Ferris Bueller had quite the adventure, from borrowing the 61 Ferrari of his best friend's unforgiving father to visiting the Sears Tower, the Art Institute, and finally singing the awesome song, including Twist and Shout, which was super cool. Ferris's agenda that afternoon was naturally a trip to Wrigley Field. After grabbing a bite to eat at a snooty, magnificent Mile restaurant, Ferris and pals headed to the game. And just to kind of wrap it up, the date is the date that I'm recording this audio is June 5th, but it was of the good old year 1985. So yes, if you did not know. Now, what's ironic is I knew that, but it was not on my mind at all. The big homie Ron Perkins had texted me and said, yo, ODB, don't forget, did you know? And of course, I remember thinking about making a post in the past, and I didn't make one. So June 5th, 1985, man, was 1985 epic. Even though this film didn't come out in 85, remember they filmed it then. Man, 1985, when I hear those four numbers together, it brings me back. Whether it's Back to the Future, or it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off or the Goonies, I love it. The trivia with Miggity Mike the Mayor, who's out gallivanting, is brought to you by our kinfolk at Garage Gear Clothing. Visit garagegearclothing.com. They have options for free shipping. They also visit shows nationwide. They'll be at Classic Truck Throwdown. Go by, slap hands, let the team know that's slinging the merch that OLP sent you. Okay, next we got the scene updates. And I want to give a huge shout out to the big homie, Tom Bennett. Tom is no stranger to covers. His Cheetah Blazer graced the cover of Tailgate. His Lincoln I shot, 65 Lincoln, graced the cover of All Time Low magazine. And his now F100 is gracing the cover of Street Trucks. This is June 2025 issue. And I had offered to shoot this in 2024. And we just weren't able to link up. He was trying to nail down a few more details, and I'm so glad that it got shot. I believe this technically got shot the weekend of Lone Star Throwdown this year. Alman Lunger and Chris at Street Trucks traveled to Tom's place, and they shot this. This is a super cool feature, and it was shot right there on location in his awesome garage. So huge shout out to the big homie. Now, it also says on the cover that they love minis as well. And this is T. Graham, I believe. Huge shout out. Adam Johnson does a super cool kind of dual feature in here, which is two separate features technically, but I think they were shot at the same time. And then Adam also shoots his wife, Crystal Johnson. He shoots her truck, Seven Summers, I think it was called. So yeah, awesome stuff. Two Tacomas and great stuff. But what I would ask is go out there and subscribe. When you subscribe to these magazines, it's usually a reduced rate. And go out there, even if you go, hey, Street Trucks runs, a lot of X and I like more of Y. Go support the cause. I mean, please do it. My big thing is let's keep these print mags out there, including Mini Truckin', right? So we've got two great magazines out there that really cater to what we love. There's also others, right? There's Gauge magazine, which I don't reinforce enough. There's ECS magazine. There's a few other homegrown ones. One I need to talk about in the upcoming episode that's going to have a Mazda on the cover. So pretty cool stuff. Speaking of magazines, the Scene Updates is brought to you by Local Rides Mag. That's Local Rides with the Z mag. Go out there and check them out. Buy an issue. Bill and team is homegrown and they put in a lot of effort. It's a very well done magazine. It's Local Rides with a Z magazine. Hut 1, Hut 2, Hut 3, Hut, Old Dirty Ballard, live and uncut. And I want to give a huge shout out to Phoenix Forged. I know I keep talking about, we're going to talk more about the kinfolk here, but if you want to get like custom awards like these I'm showing on YouTube where we've got our spinners, you could reach out to Kennedy and team at Phoenix, F-E-N-I-X Forged. Now, they're planning a lot more. I know right now when you look at their socials and you look at some of their YouTube content, they're primarily hitting these big events where it's, the lifted crowd. And that's their bread and butter right now. But they are going to expand into mini trucks and so much more. So if you've got an idea brewing, look no further than hitting the kinfolk up at Phoenix with an IX, Phoenix Forged, Real Deal Holyfield. So my live and uncut, remember over the past couple of years, I've really tried to switch these into like a positive thing. I don't think it was ever really negative, but it was more like what was the guy at the end of 60 Minutes? Art Rooney. It was kind of like a little bit of this is a pet peeve of mine. Well, I will tell you this, last week I had intended, that would have been the schedule for OLP to put out a new episode. And that week I just had so much good stuff going on. My nieces were about to finish regular school, public school, if you will, in Florida. And we just had other stuff going on. And, we were going into the weekend and we were excited about that. And we were going to be going to the beach. And what I was able to do is, the old ODB would have been just like, nope, I got to come out here. I got to finish my episode. I got to get these ideas together. I got to make the cover art. I got to type the description. I got to do all that. And what I've learned over the course of time is although I love streaks are made to be broken. So it was so nice just to go, you know what, this week, make a comment out in our Mini Truckin' Syndicate Facebook group. Not going to do an episode, no new episode this week. Now that would have normally put us 2 weeks more out, but I was, trying to remain fluid. And boom, this week I go, hey, we're going to go ahead and get the ladies' announcement out. So with that being said, feel like if you want to take a day off from work or your hobby, maybe you don't want to go and do that the one day. dude, the decision is yours. And I often love reading Ice-T's quotes and some of the things he shares on social media. And one of those things that's really resonated with me that he said, and I think I've mentioned this before, is when you say yes to doing something, that's your verbal agreement that you're going to do it. And something I've tried to become better at is not always saying yes. I always didn't want to let someone down, or sure, you want to do that? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And sometimes we bog ourselves down, and I know I do. So for me, like last week was like, yeah, I was on track to do an episode, but it was like, you know what? It's not going to hurt the universe if I just take a week off, right? What's the big deal? So that's important. I had a similar thing this week. We went to the beach last weekend. I kind of got my first sunburn, even though I wear sunblock, of the season, kind of really kicked it off, but ended up with like a summer cold, and I had a little bit of bronchitis. And this week, like I didn't take a sick day. I took a regular, I went in Monday. I ended up taking Tuesday off and went to the doctor, got some meds I needed, took my son. He wasn't feeling well. So, you got to be able to do those things, right? Because we often are told that what happens if you don't, if you were to pass away, your job's often going to have that job posted before your funerals. Take that however you so choose. ODB Live and Uncut, again, brought to you by Phoenix with an I, or Phenix Forged. Okay, the podcast updates really don't have much more other than we're going to keep the pedal stomped. August is our 10th anniversary, believe it or not. And if you think about, we're almost at that milestone 400. And if you do the quick math, that's literally 40 episodes per year for 10 years. And that's a huge accomplishment for me. I appreciate the fact that many of you have listened to us for a very long time. I will also say that in the beginning, you may recall, we would put out an episode and we'd go weeks and weeks and weeks. And I was like, man, I don't know what I want to do. I was overthinking everything. So it's really cool to be able to get in a groove and be consistent. I think whatever you're trying to do, whether it's a business, media empire, social media posts, you got to be consistent. And that's what Apple is every year. We all can make fun of the iPhone. Hasn't really changed much, but it's that keyword is incremental. You always want to make incremental updates. It's the same thing if you're saving money, or if you're trying to build your business or your social media following. You always want to obviously move the barometer in the right way. So make those incremental updates. And that's what we've tried to do. That's what I've tried to do for 10 years. One of the incremental updates is getting Miggity Mike the Mayor off the damn show. And I've been able to do that. I don't know how. So with that being said, again, shout out to The Freaking Weekend in Biloxi around the 20th of September. We'll be out there. So with that being said, what I'm going to announce, we're going to go into Jessica Roach, and then we'll talk to Donna Mahaney-Patrick. These tie into the OLP Honor Awards for 2024. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Yo, ODB, it's 2025. My master plan and what we've always done is announce the previous year winners like the first or second episode of January, typically the first episode of January. This year, I had a master plan to do that at Mini Nats. Well, because we worked really hard, and Radar and the team on the Mini Truck Hall of Fame committee, because all that came together, we were able to make those announcements. And to me, that was more important, being able for the first time to announce the Mini Truck Hall of Fame inductees at Mini Nats. That was important. So really, the OLP Honors, I don't want to say took a backstage, but the people that were there, we spoke with them in person. We posted many of those videos on social media. I was down to the two ladies that won awards, and I hadn't got a chance to see them at a show yet. So that's how we get to June 2025. And with that being said, let's jump in. We're going to call Jessica now, and then we'll try to get Donna Mahaney-Patrick. Shout out to Sean Patrick, the big homie, East to West Connect. You know what I'm saying? ODB, just want to say again, thank you to Scraping the Coast. Much love, everyone. Stay on the rise and share this podcast with your friends, family, and clubmates. You know what I'm saying? Baby, we out ya. Peace. Hey, as I mentioned on this episode, we wanted to sit down briefly with a couple of the females. Jessica Roach, we kind of put you on the spot. You're probably thinking, what the hell's going on? But how you doing?
I'd expect nothing less. I'm doing great. How are you, Jason?
Good. There's always a cluster of like Pigpen, the little cloud following the shit show going on. So, we got to have fun. But we missed you at Mini Nats this year. We know that you guys are getting ready for Battle in Bama. How have things been?
They've been good. We've been, for lack of better words, balls to the wall. on my truck, and we've completely changed it as I showed you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, some of you guys are going to see it at Battle in Bama if you're there, my understanding. And we got a sneak peek, but we're going to keep it on the wraps for now. But what we wanted to do is present, we did 2 female awards for 2024, and we realized your truck is still kind of up and coming, right? We can't wait to see the continued progression. We got a West Coast, we got an East Coast, but the way it kind of worked out is what we did is we have our OLP honors, and it technically says female truck of the year, but we want to really reinforce that because you've been really pushing the limits, right? Especially on the female side, getting your hands dirty with your man John. And it's been just such an honor to see the truck, link it up with you at the Spark Show, and we know you're out there hustling. So we wanted to kind of give you some kudos and give you a pat on the back and continue that encouragement that some of us need.
I don't even know what to say. I more than appreciate that. I work my butt off, and it means more to me than to be recognized for that. I appreciate it. And I
Yeah.
just do it because I love it. I do it for a living, and the mini truck stuff is I do it because I love it, and it's just who I am. So I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. What we'd like to do, and I know we've talked about this, and I mentioned it to John recently, Barefoot, is when we have a little bit more time, kind of just sit down and talk about, right? You gave the listeners a great hint at, hey, I kind of do this for a living. You got this awesome truck. I'll pipe in a few photos I have of it so that people can see it. But we've always committed to sitting down with the ladies, but I still truly feel like I don't give enough credit to the great ladies out there like you that are out there hustling. And I like to reinforce that it's not just a man scene, right? There's plenty of awesome females out there doing the damn thing, and you're one of them.
I appreciate it. I try not to look at the scene like man or woman. We all love the same stuff. And if we didn't push the limits, then why are we doing it?
Yep. Shout out to Grinder TV. You got Brian and Frank, those great guys, of course, with the Drop podcast. So it's cool to see that. You've supported the scene, and we
Oh, yeah.
appreciate that.
I have to.
Yeah, you talk about it's in your blood. I also want to give a huge shout out to Welch's Chop Shop up in Tennessee doing the dang thing. He does a lot for us, and Graphic Disorder does artwork for us each year. And we thank him and the team there. I had this master plan to announce these and give these out at Mini Nats this year. And because we ended up doing the Mini Truck Hall of Fame stuff, my master plan didn't work exactly, but I think going forward, we'll announce them, towards the beginning of the year. And then for those that are at Mini Nats, we'll make sure we get them to you. But I just wanted to say congrats. We love your Mazda. We love your commitment to the scene, and we'll make sure you get this safe and sound.
You're the man, dude. I appreciate you. It's always a good time when we get together, so I can't wait until the next time. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome. And if people want to find you, I forget if you're on Instagram. I know you're on Facebook, but Jessica Roach.
Instagram is Mini Mazda Jess, so it's not hard to find.
Yep, and shout out to John. I think I would normally say your better half, but I think you're his better half. With all due respect,
there's no way this truck would be what it is without him. I mean, with both of us collabing on it, the possibilities are endless. But he's really helped me bring life to the changes that I wanted to make, and I couldn't do it without him. So I love him to death.
Yeah, follow her on Instagram, Facebook. There's going to be more to come. We'll link up with you, Jessica.
Absolutely.
We hope you guys have a safe trip to Alabama and stay on the rise. We appreciate what you do for the scene, and much love.
Much love to you, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, we're so excited to link back up with Donna Mahaney-Patrick. How are you?
Doing great.
Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on prior. I mean, you've had so much going on. Give us a quick update on Side Toy.
Yeah, besides driving to the last show and bending a wheel on the way back, she's pretty much, we're just refining things. You got to drive it to break it, and then you fix it. But we've had the time to change it over to some billet wheels right now, and I'm looking still for those perfect billet wheels that just want to match the style that I want to go with. But the black wheels are, unfortunately, they hit a 2-bedroom condo in the middle of the freeway apparently, and it tweaked the wheel to doneness. So yeah, we've decided to kind of start going a different angle with the wheels and changing some interior things and, updating things everywhere, always finding out where her flaws are. It's always the fun ride when you're building something from scratch.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a sticker. I don't know. I always wanted to get one. Maybe I reminded myself there used to be a website you could send like $3. The young kids won't understand this, but remember self-addressed stamped envelopes?
Right.
And they had a sticker that said leaving Billetville, drive safely or something like that.
Please stay 100 feet away. It's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I didn't catch that pothole. I tell you what, that was I apologize to that poor truck for a good 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the garage looks good. Thanks for having OLP. For those keen-eyed folks, they might see it playing back there. But I also wanted to reinforce, though, this my intel is correct, right? Are you repping the three?
Yeah, I'm an official member of RA now. I got my full logo just at a past show and at the last show, the After Dark show, Aftershock. After Dark. I know there's something that says After Dark, but the Aftershock show up in Corcoran, it was a great show. Dusty as heck up there, but it was a good show. Yeah, it was an honor to finally completely logoed out, and we got that put on right away, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, that's great. And I would encourage anyone that's interested more in Donna Mahaney-Patrick, a link to at the end of this episode, I'll link out to her full episode, and it's really cool. When we looked back at the late '80s with the cover, the hot rod themed magazine where your truck or you were on the cover,
Right.
cool. Like when you think about all these different years, and 91 RA starts, those members got to be proud to kind of see how the RA logo is still 30 plus years strong, and there's ladies like you and your awesome man Sean that are going out and representing. That's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, we wanted to take a moment, and I had a little bit of a hiccup when I submitted the names to Josh Welch. But what I wanted to do is show you your award for the OLP Honors. You now, I know in some people's minds they're going, okay, yo, ODB, it's 2025. My master plan was to announce all of these at Mini Nats, and we ended up covering most of the Mini Truck Hall of Fame stuff. But for our 2024 OLP Honor Female Mini Truck of the Year, and we're going to send this out to you. Josh Welch is going to mail it. What do you have to say?
Wow, thank you. Every struggle with this truck, we've built this from a shop truck. We used to do horrible things with this truck. My daughter drove it at college. It was just a black Toyota pickup truck that we had a lot of confidence in. And after Sean Mahaney's passing, it was like, I don't need this truck, so let's do something crazy with it. And so the last 7 years, it's been built. And, the last year and a half, almost 2 years, it's almost been complete to where it was like show worthy and club worthy and part of its own thing. I built it like I wanted to. Didn't know if anyone else would care for what I had a vision for. But since I started building this truck, I've known exactly what it was supposed to look like at the end. And everybody wants to say, oh, you should do this, or oh, you should do that. And I'm like, no, no, no. Just wait, just wait, just wait. And you painted it gray. No, no, no. It's not just gray. Oh, you did this. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I would have never put those colors together. Or it doesn't look like everything else at the shows. It's not a stock color. It's not a black, white, yellow, orange, red. She's different. And I am so proud that you guys are honoring me with something like that. Cause I honestly, I built it for me and I love it. And that anybody else likes it is pure bonus to me. It's pure bonus. And I get a lot of compliments all the time on it. Don't always win trophies. Sometimes I'm shocked with trophies that it wins, but she's my baby, and I will take care of her till the end of her, and she will never go anywhere.
Yeah, we could see the twinkle in your eye, and we knew that you were getting this thing dialed in. Obviously, as a true mini trucker, you're always going to be tweaking little things here and there. But what was so neat is to see the passion, the dedication, the commitment to over all that time. And it was ironic. We ended up doing 2 awards earlier in this episode. The listeners will see Jessica Roach. We gave her essentially the Mini Truck of the Year for the females as the up and coming truck. And what was really cool for her is, she just re-debuted the truck under construction, at Battle in Bama. And that was so cool to see. She's kind of where you were at some point. But, when we look back at, East to West Coast, we said, Donna Mahaney-Patrick, you really represent the essence of what a mini trucker is. You're out there, you're working on your truck, especially, your man's helping you here and there, but you're doing the bulk of the stuff and you've got the vision. So we're so happy for you.
Thank you guys very much. And I am completely honored to even be considered for something like this, let alone get it. I can't wait to put it up on the mantle.
Yeah, no problem. And we want to thank Welch's Chop Shop and Graphic Disorder. They do all of our artwork. But if people want these shirts, they can go on our website. It's the If Marty Was a Mini Trucker, paying homage to one of my favorite films, the 1989 Back to the Future 2. Is there any way we could get a quick cameo from our good friend, Sean Patrick?
Absolutely. I can, he's here. He's just hiding over there.
SP in
Come on
the
in, babe.
house. My
That's
man, what's
right.
up, brother? And we're gonna give you the Arsenio pump, pump, pump. Listen, we
Oh,
appreciate
God.
you. And if we start a Sport Compact Mini Award, you certainly would have got it because you've been getting a lot of love in this truck scene. You know, you took a car that had a little bit of history, right? And you said, hey, wow, how can we refresh it? And, you know, I tip my cap to you. You know, we've done a couple collab videos, and it's so cool to see the love that the car's
a lot of mini truck history to it.
Yeah, and saving that car was so important. It was so abused for a while that it just needed the love put back into it. And this guy, he works his butt off to get that car back correct and to drive great and everything to be mechanically sound. Some people forget that part, and they're driving around things that I don't want on the highway next to me. This car is solid as hell for being 31 years old.
Yeah, 31.
She's old.
That's young.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, it brings a smile to
Not
my
in
face
cars.
because it brings a smile to my face because, you know, it's the scene that we love, and, you know, there's so much good. And, you know, we all, over the 30 plus years, we've all dealt with a little bit of the challenges, whether it's bending a wheel or maybe a little bit of club flare up drama here and there. But at the end of the day, we all get together because we love cars and trucks. And for you guys to
Absolutely.
have the dedication that you have, you know, it's an honor to be able to just, you know, to me, I always wanted to give the people kudos. I'm the type of person, I'd rather give someone a pat on the back than get one. And certainly that's what we wanted to do with you. But we also want to let the ladies know out there that, you know, you can do it. Donna has given so much feedback out there, especially on the podcast. Get out there, live your dreams, and do what you love. Right, Sean?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Don't let anything stop you.
No.
Well, Sean, we're going to get you on as a full interview as well. We'll talk more with you. I know we have a little bit in the past, but what I'd like to do is talk more with you in the future. Thank you so much, Donna, for coming on again. And we can't wait to be out west and see the car sometime, or the truck, excuse me, Side Toy. And don't forget, although not an official partner of OLP, there also is a shirt, Drop 'em Wear, I believe, that can go out there and get the shirt.
Yes.
Yep. It's a cool little TEQ homage with the anime, and it's adorable. It's a great shirt. You can get it in whatever color that suits your fancy. It doesn't have to be black. Actually, he doesn't do it in black, because it's a see-through black logo. So yeah, it's on my Instagram. We put links in our stuff from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever, just so people can order it if they want. If you're a Toyota lover, it's, you know, it's that 1 year between the trucks that have cool names to it's a pickup. I was like, Toyota, you really let us down on that one. I went from Hilux to pickup to Tacoma or Taco, and it's like, I want something cool in between. Well, we got it. We're so cool.
I also want to give somewhere a huge shout out. I was never able to make it to their show in October. It would always fall on my son's birthday weekend. But this year, you know, I'm a big fan of Rad, and they're going to have a huge Rad tie-in. It's moved up about a month, 3-4 weeks in September. And it's going to be like Rad Day in the Park or something to that effect. But Bill Allen from the movie Rad is going to be there. So
awesome.
I told my wife, that's given me a reason to go now.
That's a good reason.
Beach puts on a good show.
Plus they raise a ton of money for like Toys for Tots and stuff. And it's great to see.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're proud of you, and thank you so much. And Sean, thanks for taking a moment as well to get a cameo in, my friend.
Not a problem.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it.